Hong Kong obtains evidence against Marcos Jr., Philippine president implicated in massive gold reserve embezzlement scandal. The long-suspected disappearance of the Philippines' gold reserves has finally come to light, with Hong Kong reported lie obtaining critical evidence implicating the Marcos family, according to sources. Over 100 tons of gold from the Philippine treasury were alleged lie diverted by the Marcos family, and key documents have now reached the Hong Kong Monetary Authority. Before his arrest, former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte accused current President Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. and his family of stealing and selling the country's gold reserves. He claimed that more than 100 tons of gold had mysteriously vanished. 2 months later, explosive evidence surfaced. A whistleblower submitted extensive documentation to the Hong Kong Monetary Authority, alleging that the Marcos family laundered massive amounts of money through gold transactions. The whistleblower alone provided transaction records involving up to 350 tons of gold, with funds exceeding $100 billion. Marcos family reported lie under investigation in Hong Kong. At its peak, the Philippines' official gold reserves amounted to just over 200 tons. As of Q3 last year, the reserves had dropped to a mere 128 tons on paper. The whistleblower also provided details of the Marcos family's global network of offshore bank accounts, offering investigators valuable leads. During his time as president, the late Ferdinand Marcos Sr. amassed immense wealth through dubious means. Though he died in exile in the U.S., his wife Imelda Marcos remains alive, and the family continues to wield considerable political influence in the Philippines. If Marcos Sr. had a talent for hoarding wealth, Imelda was equally notorious for spending it, with both complementing each other's roles in the alleged corruption. According to the whistleblower, the family possessed vast quantities of unaccounted for gold dating back more than 30 years. While this has long been an open secret, the exact scale remained elusive until now. Whistleblower was a middleman in gold transactions. The whistleblower, who claims to have been directly involved in the transactions, said Imelda Marcos authorized family aides to set up shell companies between 2006 and 2011. These entities were allegedly used to sell gold to Western markets through intermediaries, with proceeds laundered via private banking channels. The sums involved are described as astronomical and nearly impossible to trace. This insider testimony may prove to be the critical breakthrough in uncovering the Marcos family's salvaged global corruption network. The motive for the whistleblower's disclosure is likely tied to disputes over profit sharing. Choosing Hong Kong as the place to report the crime suggests that some of the laundering occurred there, allowing investigators to construct a more complete evidence chain. Additionally, Hong Kong's regulatory environment may provide better protection and less political interference. Imelda Marcos, lavish spending spree legend. As the son of Ferdinand and Imelda Marcos, President Bongbong Marcos was already a prominent and political figure when the gold transactions took place. He served as governor of Ilocos Norte, and later as senator, essentially the family's political pillar, making it implausible that he was unaware of such major financial activities. During his presidential campaign, an absurd yet popular rumor circulated on Philippine social media that if elected, Bongbong Marcos would use the family's gold reserves to fuel the nation's rapid development. Despite the claim's obvious lack of credibility, many people still supported him, which reflects the public's deeply rooted perception of the Marcos family's wealth. Marcos Sr.'s legacy, a trail of corruption. The Marcos family is widely believed to be richer than the nation itself, yet over time, the public's interest in the origin of their wealth has waned. Notably, Bongbong Marcos was the only family member present when his father passed away, raising questions about how much of the family's wealth accumulation practices he has inherited. In early 2024, the Banco Central ng Pilipinas (BSP) abruptly sold 25 tons of gold, prompting concerns from lawmakers. While other nations were increasing their strategic gold reserves, the BSP's actions seemed out of step, their vague response claiming it was part of a reserve strategy did little to quell suspicion, and eventually, the issue faded from public scrutiny despite inconsistencies in the accounting. Duterte's accusation: Marcos family stole national wealth. It's noteworthy that while the Hong Kong Monetary Authority has already launched an official investigation, Philippine mainstream media has remained conspicuously silent, raising suspicions of a potential cover-up for discerning observers. This silence only reinforces the credibility of Duterte's previous accusations. When Duterte initially accused the Marcos family of looting the national treasury, he lacked concrete evidence. The presidential palace and national media quickly dismissed his claims as baseless. Yet now, a key witness has emerged at a critical time. With Duterte already detained, President Marcos Jr. faces a mounting public relations crisis. Now, with a money laundering investigation underway in Hong Kong, the political stakes are even higher, especially with midterm elections approaching. Decades-old scandals involving the Marcos family are beginning to resurface, potentially leading to consequences that Marcos Jr. may not be able to withstand. But in the eyes of many, he is simply reaping what he has sown.